Hi, welcome to our final songwriting session number 4. If you're tuning in now, it really is a good idea, if possible, to go back and look at numbers 1, 2 and 3, as they do all kind of lead you on a musical journey, so they'll kind of make a bit more sense. But if you're a more experienced songwriter, then feel free to just dive into this one. Today we're going to be looking at the intro, which is an important part of the song, and the outro, and also we're going to be looking at the bridge as well, and different types of intros and different types of outros as well, to give you some really concrete examples that you can move forwards with. My name's Olivia Stevens, and I'm a singer-songwriter living in Bognor Regis, West Sussex, and I'm really delighted to be yet again working for Bognor, a local arts organisation that are really passionate about inspiring young people and helping them to be more creative and making access to the arts more accessible to all people. I'm hoping this final session to look at a few more devices we can use as songwriters, and these devices will really help to make our songs both engaging and memorable. And we're also going to be looking at, well, I'm going to give you some examples of some banger tunes that really help to illustrate some of the things that I'll be talking to you about today. So first up, we're going to be looking at the intro. Now there's 100 ways to approach it. There's no really any right or wrong answer, but there are, let's put it this way, some more popular and more well used and, kind of devices or intro devices that people return to again and again, and which you will hear in lots and lots of songs that you hear on the radio and in the charts. We'll see you in section 2. Hi, now we're going to look at the intro. So the intro can sometimes just be simply a way of establishing the melody to help the vocalist to pitch to where they need to come in and what they need to be actually singing. So it creates melodic undertone so that the vocalist knows what to do. I mean, one thing I've really learned, and I've not always been good at it, is keeping the intro short and sweet. I think, if you're looking at getting radio play and, you want to engage your listeners as quickly as possible, I kind of think of it a bit like a pie. And your intro is kind of like your crust, and I suppose at the end of the day, the crust is only really there as, I don't know what it's really there for. You want to get to what's underneath, don't you? It's just a little accompaniment. So I think, if you want to get to the meat of the song, the chorus and the verse, you want to engage your listeners as quickly as possible. So that would be my advice. Keep your intro short and sweet, unless you're looking at making it a much more kind of integral and important part of your song. Okay, so we're going to show you an example of that now, which is just a short introduction that really just helps me pitch to the song and utilises, I think, the chords from the verse, is it, or from the chorus?
From the verse, yeah.
From the verse,
exactly,
yeah. Okay. Love me, baby, you know that you should love me, baby, like I knew that you would when I look around, just me and my tears. So there you can see how it's just such a simple motif, a musical motif taken from the chords of the verse, just to help introduce the song and bring me in as the vocalist. Okay, some really good examples of what would be called an intro hook, which is something else, which is a melodic idea that gets established right at the beginning of the song, but it's something that gets brought into the song throughout the song and it keeps reappearing. So it becomes this kind of like bit of a kind of melodic hook, so they call that an intro hook. And so some really good examples that you might want to go away and have a listen to. Smoke on the Water is a really good one. You Can Call Me Al by Paul Simon, and Moves Like Jagger. Those are 3 really good examples of intro hooks. So also what we're now going to look at now is a song called When I See You, just to give you an example of that, where the intro hook is something that comes up later on in the song. So yeah, we're just going to perform a bit of When I See You for you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Gone by default, my heart is under assault. I don't even know who I am anymore. Chasing shadows on asunder. You've become somebody new. Well, I loved you to within each of my life. I'm ready to oblivion on the edge of the night. I don't even know who I am anymore. The way I see you when I gotta be with you. I really know, I really know. I love is so real deep. The way I need you. When I gotta feel your love. I really know, I really know. I love is so real deep. So there you have it, and there was the little intro hook right from the start coming back in that leads into the solo. Okay, in the next section I'm going to look how the intro can be used in a much more powerful way to really set the scene and kind of conjure up a picture in the listener's mind of where the song is positioned within the world and creating a real sort of atmosphere and vibe for the listener. So we'll look at that in the next section. Another way that the intro may function is a way of setting the scene of the song and creating an ambience, and be a very important way of signposting the emotion you wish to evoke, or act as an oral device to reinforce what the song is about. A brilliant example of the latter is Army Dreamers by Kate Bush. Please go check it out. It's amazing how the sounds she uses, the instrumentation really sounds like something to do with guns and, you know, a canister being put in the gun and the bullets going in and the changing of the barrel and that sort of thing. So that's a really, really good example of how she uses sounds within the song and at the beginning of the song to really set the scene. The format is something I used for a song of mine called By My Side. I used the sampled sounds of seagulls and the sea to place the listener in that context. Using imagery and atmosphere can be a very powerful way for a song to be guided in its creation and in the way that it's mixed in the studio. So this is sometimes how I have worked, and for this song I told the musicians I want the song to sound like sunlight glistening on the sea. This can really help when making decisions on how you want the song as a whole to function and what kind of feeling you want it to evoke in the listener, and act as a springboard for how the musicians approach playing the song as well. Harmonica in this song mimics the feeling of a boat moving from side to side and the rhythmical flow of the tides. I also used this song as the outro too, so the song had a circularity to it. So now we're going to listen to the beginning of By My Side. So there you can hear the way the harmonica creates this sort of feeling of something sort of moving from side to side, and then you could hear at the beginning also there the seagulls and the sound of the sea. We're now going to go to the end of the song so that you can hear how the outro works as well. That's what you do, yeah, so making me so blue. That's what you do, what you do. So there you have it, another way in which you can use the introduction to your song as the outro to create a circularity to it and set the scene. Okay, so now we're going to look a bit more at the outro and different ways in which you can end your songs to make your endings really interesting. An outro is also sometimes referred to as the coda of a song. As one might think, it's the inverse of an intro section. It's a structural element designed to wrap things up and ease the listener towards the song's conclusion. Though, as illustrated in my example with By My Side, it can also mirror the intro, so it comes full circle and completes the song, has a circularity to it then. Okay, so now I'm going to give you 5 creative ways to end a song that also combine with some music theory definitions too, that will prove really useful when you're working with other musicians. Okay, example number 1 is called a cadence, and I'm just going to invite Stefan to come and join me, and he's going to play for you an example of a cadence, and it's a song in the key of G.
In the key of G. It's an easy key. You get a lot of open chords.
Lovely. So a cadence is a series of chords that resolve, usually to the root chord. The root chord also contains the note, which also the key of the song is in. So in this example, the root chord at the end has the note of G within it. A cadence provides a conclusion that's highly satisfying to the ears, especially when it's a very melodic number with lots of chords or when it's a big epic piece. Okay, now we're going to look at another way of ending a song, which is called subtraction. This is another great way to mirror the introduction of a song as the ending as well. A song might begin by starting with a simple beat and then adding one instrument at a time, almost like layering fillings up inside a sandwich, and then adding one instrument at a time as the song builds. You can do the same thing in reverse when the song concludes at the outro, letting one instrument after another sit out until only the beat or another instrumental part remains, or perhaps even just the vocal remains. Another way you can go about ending your songs, this is example number 3, is to go a cappella. Now a cappella means singing without accompaniment. Chances are you've got a song with some great vocal harmony between band members. While your rhythm section is blasting away, that harmony is tucked away in the background. Why not turn it loose at the end of a song? Have your instruments sit out while one of you, just sings over that last bit on your own, the vocalist, or you might even have the main vocalist and one of the backing vocalists joining together to create a lovely harmony and stripping it right back to the bare bones of the song. Another way you can end a song is with what's called, shortened to the word ral, but this actually is the word rallentando, which is an Italian word, which means becoming slower, to relax, slacken, slow down. This is also often may mean that musicians are also being asked to colla voce, which would mean to follow the vocalist and go with what the vocalist is doing. And this is often used in blues music a lot of the time, and also in jazz you'll hear a lot of that as well. So do go and have a look at some examples of blues music and listen out for the ral ending where everybody's slowing down and going with the vocalist colla voce. Also another really good example would be Ella Fitzgerald, amazing jazz singer, and often there are times where she's really going off piste and the band are literally having to keep up and follow what she's doing. The last example is called a tempo. This is used as a direction in music to return to the original tempo. So something that might happen in a song outro is a combination of a rallentando followed by a tempo. So things might really slow down, and just as the audience is winding down thinking this is the end, suddenly it kicks back in with a rousing return to the original tempo, so that the song ends on a burst of energy rather than drifting off. Okay, in this next section, we're going to give you an example of an ending of a song called Candy by Paolo Nutini that actually encompasses quite a lot of the techniques that we've just discussed. And now we're going to play you a part of the song Candy by Paolo Nutini. And in this example, what you're going to hear is a cappella type chorus with just a tiny bit of instrumentation in the background. And then we're going to go a tempo, back to the original tempo, and then you're going to hear Stefan do an example of a rallentando ending where it will slow down. But darling, I'll bathe your skin, I'll even wash your clothes. Just give me some candy before I go. Oh darling, I'll kiss your eyes, lay you down on your rug. Just give me some candy after my heart. So there you have it, an a cappella chorus followed by an a tempo chorus, and then at the end a row to finish the song. Okay, so just for the final part of songwriting session number 4, I'm just going to briefly touch on the bridge. I'd really recommend you go away and have a listen to songs and listen out for it. The middle 8 is often confused with the bridge, but the middle 8 is one section that's often not repeated more than once in a song and tends to appear in the middle of the song, okay? But also the bridge is a bit of a song where it works like a real life bridge, so it's bridging between different sections and moving the song forwards. It usually comes between the verse and chorus. But again, there's so many different examples where it's used in different ways. But a really good example I found recently is a song called Ain't Nothing Going On But The Rent by Gwen Guthrie. If you listen out for it in this song, at the beginning, there's this lines that are vocal lines that are said right at the beginning. So it's kind of like an intro hook as well. And then it is repeated throughout the song. So generally, I'd say the easiest way to identify a bridge compared to a middle 8 would be that the middle 8 you will only hear once or twice maximum, but the bridge is a couple of lines that you will hear often repeated throughout the song, and it will link different bits together. Okay. Well, that's it. And we really hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have, and that it helps you to become better songwriters and more confident songwriters. It's been a journey for me too, looking back on some of my songs and devices that have been used along the way, and also learning some new stuff too. We look forward to hopefully joining you for some more tutorials soon, so don't forget to follow us on Spotify if you want to keep up on what we're up to as songwriters ourselves. You just got to look for Olivia Stevens and Company, but it will be in the description below of the video. And also, yeah, stay in touch with the Bogdaphenia community. It'd be great to, really build on this together. And hopefully one day we might see you in person and be running our in-person workshop all together in one room and making amazing music together. So we look forward to seeing you again. So once again, thanks so much for watching. It's goodbye from me, Olivia Stevens, and it's goodbye from Stefan Magic.